In this video, I'm going to be making bourbon chocolate pecan pie. This is from the November 2022 edition of Food Network magazine. And this is the magazine where they're gearing up towards Thanksgiving. And so they've had a lot of pie recipes in here. So for
I like a good pie.
Yes, especially pecan pie. And especially bourbon chocolate pecan pie. So sounds wonderful. So what you need is, we're going to start up here with a ½ cup light brown sugar, lightly packed, ½ cup granulated sugar, a ½ cup all-purpose flour, kosher salt, and that's going to be 1 teaspoon of kosher salt back in the bag. You need 1 stick of unsalted butter, melted and cooled slightly, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2½ tablespoons of good bourbon. They say such as Maker's Mark. We didn't have Maker's Mark. We have the Old Forester, and so there's 2½ tablespoons in that. Ashley actually gave me that bourbon. I haven't even tried it yet. Then we have 1 1/4 cups semi-sweet chocolate chips, such as Nestle, and you might notice in here I have regular size chips and mini chips. I just combined bags from what I had up in the cabinet. And then this is 1 cup of whole pecans, large diced is what it said. Well, underneath of this is like pecan halves, and then these are pecan chips. Once again though, I'm using bags that are already open up in my cabinet before I have to open up something else. I love pecan chips. I think those will work just fine. You also need a 9-inch store-bought frozen pie crust. Now, in these videos, if you've been watching them, you may have seen us use Marie Callender, and then these are the Pillsbury. They usually come with 2 per package, so you don't want to just throw one away even if you don't like it that much. I prefer the Marie Callender over the Pillsbury, but we're going to go ahead and use this. We're not going to, it's not that it's bad, it's just that the Marie Callender is better. So we're still going to use that, so we don't have to do anything to it. I'm just going to set it to the side. So you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Place oven rack in the center of the oven. In a medium mixing bowl, you want to combine the brown sugar, granulated sugar, flour, and salt. So what you do with these, we're not going to use the mixer for these. You take your a whisk attachment, and you do not have to do this in the KitchenAid bowl. I'm just using the bowl because it was already out right there. But you're going to whisk these together, and then we're going to set this aside. And then see, I have another KitchenAid bowl, so it's really convenient. And in the mixer, you're actually going to put your butter, eggs, vanilla, and bourbon. Okay, so you just mix that together. And if you want to use the whisk, you can use the whisk.
You could probably do that by hand if you really wanted to.
You could definitely do it by hand. So now you want to take this wet mixture, pour it into your dry mixture, and we're going to combine these with a, it said with a rubber spatula. Now you want to stir in your chocolate chips and pecans. And now you want to pour this into your pie crust. I'm going to put this on top of a cookie sheet just in case it bubbles up or runs over or something. The cookie sheet will catch it. It also makes it easier to get it out of the oven once it's hot. But you want to bake this for 35 to 40 minutes until the filling is evenly golden brown on top and is firm in the middle as it is at the edges. So I'm going to set my timer for 38 minutes and we'll be back. Here's the pie. I wish we had shown it to you when we pulled it out of the oven. It was puffed up, so it has cooled completely, or for the most part, it's cooled for a long time, and it has settled. But we were busy when it came out of the oven, and sometimes that happens, and you just have to move on.
It didn't look different, it was just puffy.
It was just puffier, that's all. So, I'm gonna cut us a piece. I wanna make sure I get through that bottom crust. There we go. And that's how it looks from the side. It kind of looks like a chocolate pudding from the side. Okay, this says you're supposed to transfer it to a wire rack to cool completely. We just left it on the cookie sheet and let it cool completely. Like I said, we were busy. It says serve it in wedges with a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Sure, it
says serves 6 to 8. 6 to 8 people. Okay. It looks very chocolatey.
Had some filling to fall out. I think I'll try that first. I like that you can actually taste the bourbon a little bit, but it's not like strong.
I love the pieces of pecan.
Mm-hmm. Pecan's had a nice texture and flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And you taste the chocolate.
Now, the pieces of pecan I got were actually pecan halves.
I've got a little mixture of both.
Okay.
Yeah, the bourbon in there, you definitely taste it.
I'm not getting it.
No, really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm 100% getting it.
No.
I taste it. The minute I put it in my mouth, I taste it.
Maybe I need more.
It's plenty for me.
No.
It has a really good bourbon.
I get the texture of the pecans. I get the chocolate. I like the crust. Kevin and I have found, we buy the pecan chips from Meyer. Now, we have not seen those pecan chips at every store, but I think they're terrific because they're like buying a peanut topping for ice cream, except these are pecans.
They're chopped.
They're chopped. They should sell them everywhere like that.
Yeah, they're smaller pieces than like the pieces. Sometimes you'll get whole pecans in the pieces, or at least half pecans. And sometimes you want smaller than that when you're taking like this, where you want bite-sized pieces.
And I just got a whole ball of little pieces, and it's terrific. It's a terrific texture.
I still can't believe you don't taste that bourbon in there.
Not at all.
She's desensitized. She drinks it so much.
All the time.
Oh,
Every night.
Constantly.
That's me.
No, it's not a strong flavor. Like I said, it's not there. I can taste it. It's definitely there for me.
I do not taste the bourbon
but it's
whatsoever.
not like bourbon ball.
So if I was going to make this again, which I totally would, I don't think at the beginning they had you do the dry ingredients and then pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. Heck, I think you could just mix it all together in a bowl and pour it all in the pie. And I think it would turn out just fine.
I think the reason they don't want you to they want you to whisk the dry first is they don't want any clumps of anything.
Well, this was so easy.
You could use one mixer bowl though, and put it on a paddle or whisk attachment. Whisk up the dry ingredients, then add all your liquids in there and let it whisk again, and then manually stir in your chocolate chips and your pecans.
Right.
You'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah, this was so incredibly simple. And if you want something different this Thanksgiving than your traditional just a pecan pie, this is primarily chocolate.
And pecans.
And chocolate, you do get pecans, but it's primarily for me, just the chocolate
Sweet chocolate with some pecans.
and the and the texture of the pecans
Yeah. I've tasted pecans
and the
too.
pastry.
Maybe we're
But the
tongue-stabbed
bourbon.
today.
No. I taste the pecans, but the strongest flavor to me is the
Oh
chocolate.
yeah, for sure. The chocolate flavor.
but
Maybe if you add another like
I think it needs another
Couple
tablespoon
tablespoons
of
of
bourbon
bourbon.
for me. Yeah, this only had like 2.5 tablespoons of bourbon. I would go like 3.5 tablespoons of bourbon just to make it stronger for me.
I think that recipe is probably a safe recipe for everybody. If you like a more boozy flavored dessert, then you could add more. If you don't like the boozy flavor at all, just leave it out.
You could absolutely do the exact same recipe and leave the bourbon out.
Yeah, I don't think it'd make a difference. You might have to add a little more liquid, although I doubt it. It wasn't a lot anyway.
If you're used to eating bourbon balls, though, you're going to want more bourbon.
Yeah, it's not that strong.
No.
I mean, nowhere near that strong.
Nowhere near that strong. So yeah, I would just, to me, I will make a little note in there that to use more. But I think this is a wonderful recipe.
Very good.
So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.